Hello viewers and welcome to our daily bulletin. Following are the headlines as usual. President Trần Đại Quang begins a state visit to Brunei. Military aircraft crashes in Phú Yên, killing a trainee pilot. Vietnam draws $14.36 billion in foreign direct investment. President Trần Đại Quang arrived in Bandar Seri Begawan on August 26th for a state-level visit to Brunei. The three-day visit is made at the invitation of the King of Brunei.
The president's visit aims to continue pursuing the 12th National Party Congress diplomatic policy of deepening external relations, partly by further reinforcing friendship and multifaceted cooperation with Brunei. Vietnam and Brunei established the diplomatic ties in 1992. Two-way trade between Vietnam and Brunei rose threefold from $24.2 million in 2010 to $37.7 million in 2015. Vietnam mostly exports seafood and rice to Brunei and imports chemicals. As of June, Brunei invested in 205 projects worth over $2.18 billion, ranking 18th of the 116 countries and territories investing in Vietnam and the 4th in ASEAN, behind Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. Cooperation in fisheries, real estate, and education training sees development potential, while education ties are mainly via multilateral cooperation framework.
Later on the day, President Trần Đại Quang and his entourage called on the embassy staff and representatives of the Vietnamese community in Brunei. He briefed the participants about the country's socio-economic as well as difficulties and challenges Vietnam is facing, such as drought and saltwater intrusion in the Mekong Delta and the marine environment incident in central provinces. The state leader noted that Vietnam and Brunei will celebrate 25 years of diplomatic ties in 2017. So during his visit, the two sides will discuss specific measures to boost the bilateral cooperation and create optimum conditions for overseas Vietnamese in Brunei to work, study, and reside in the country. President Quang also affirmed that the party and state always consider overseas Vietnamese integral part of the nation and asked the expats in Brunei to act as bridge for the friendship between the two countries. Permanent members of People's Councils of Red River and Northern Coastal Provinces and Cities for the 2016-2021 tenure convened their first conference in Nam Định Province on August 26th. National Assembly Chairwoman Nguyễn Thị Kim Ngân attended the event. In her speech, Chairwoman Ngân said the conference focuses discussions on specialized supervision, the settlement of complaints and denunciations, and improvement of working skills of People's Council deputies. While speaking highly of reports to the event, Ngân said they will be submitted to the National Assembly Standing Committee for consideration, ensuring the enforcement of the resolution adopted by the 12th National Party Congress, the law on the organization of local governments, and the law on supervision activities of the VNA and People's Councils. The top legislator underscored the need to renew methods as well as question and answer sections and asked permanent members of the municipal and provincial People's Councils to work closely with the People's Committees and the Vietnam Fatherland Front chapters, as well as the National Assembly units and the Ministry of Home Affairs to improve their working efficiency. She called for attention to promote close and synchronous coordination among units of the People's Councils and personnel training, adding that the People's Council's activities should be popularized via the mass media, helping create a platform for the building and promulgation of effective policies. Participants sought to improve the quality of question and answer sections at the meetings of the People's Councils and reception to citizens, experience in improving working skills of deputies to the People's Councils. The second conference of this kind is slated for 2017 in the northern province of Quảng Ninh. At a later working session with key officials of Nam Định province, Chairwoman Ngân spoke highly of the achievements the province has made over the past time, including the successes in party building and election work. According to the chairwoman, Nam Định has an advantage in terms of young workforce. However, the province has not yet tapped its potentials. She asked the province to pay more attention to sustainable development and diversify investment sources instead of depending on the central budget to develop infrastructure. Also on August 26th, the Commission for Internal Affairs under the Party Central Committee held a working session with the Hanoi Party Committee. The session focused on the implementation of the 10th Party Central Committee's resolution on the enhancement of the party's leadership in fighting against corruption and willfulness. Politburo member, Secretary of the Hanoi Party's Committee, Hoàng Trung Hải, said the Municipal Party Committee will direct to increase the role and responsibility of all level party committees, authorities, and heads of agencies in the fight against corruption. He said the city has opened thousands of conferences to enhance awareness of nearly 1.5 million officials while revising and promulgating hundreds of documents suitable with the local situation. He also pointed to shortcomings in the field, including inadequate understanding of the fight among a number of party members and ineffective implementation of anti-corruption work. Head of the Party Central Committee's Internal Affairs Commission, Phan Đình Trạc, hailed Hanoi as one of the leading localities in the field with many effective anti-corruption programs. He reminded the city to pay more attention to improving legal documents, strictly handling any violations, and increasing officials' awareness. The Ministry of Defense has announced that a military aircraft crashed due to engine failure during its training section in the central province of Phú Yên on August 26th, killing a trainee pilot.
The 22-year-old pilot, Sergeant Major Phạm Đức Trung from northern Ninh Bình province, was the only one on board when the plane went down into a rice field. Colonel Phạm Văn Đông, Deputy Politburo Commissar of Air Force Academy, said the L-39 fighter jet coded 8705 was run by staff of Regiment 910, which is stationed in Tuy Hòa City, Phú Yên province. Right after the accident, the Ministry of Defense ordered the Air Force to work with local relevant units and agencies to conduct search and rescue activities and deal with the aftermath. The police were deployed to direct the traffic near the scenes, which is adjacent to National Highway 1A, and caused a 2-kilometer traffic jam.
Vietnam's foreign direct investment hit $14.36 billion in the first 8 months of this year, up 7.7% year-on-year.
The Republic of Korea continues to be the leading source of foreign investment in Vietnam, with $4.8 billion, accounting for 33.4% of the nation's total foreign direct investment. It was followed by Singapore and Japan. Disbursement of foreign direct investment could reach a total of $9.8 billion in the first 8 months of 2016, a year-on-year increase of 8.9%. The ministry said foreign direct investment is expected to post a growth of 10 to 15% over 2015, and disbursement is to reach $15 billion this year.
Vietnam earned $20.6 billion from selling abroad agroforestry fishery products in the first 8 months of 2016, up 5.6% from a year ago. The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development said the figure included $1.51 billion from the sale of 3.37 million tons of rice. China remained the biggest rice importer of Vietnam, accounting for 36% of the total market. Coffee exports fetched $2.25 billion from 1.27 million tons, up 39.9% in volume and 20.7% in value. Germany and the US were the two biggest coffee importers of Vietnam in the first 7 months of this year. Export of wood and wood products reached $4.3 billion, a year-on-year fall of 0.6%. The US, Japan, and China were the three biggest markets, together holding nearly 53% of the total export value. The export value of fishery products in the first 8 months of this year amounted to $4.3 billion, a rise of 4.1% from the 2015 same period. The US, Japan, China, and the Republic of Korea were leading importers of Vietnamese farmed fish. China, the US, and Thailand saw a remarkable surge in the import of Vietnamese seafood. More than 200 precious royal documents are being showcased at an exhibition that opened in the Central Highland province of Lâm Đồng on August 25th.
The event comprises indoor and outdoor thematic display spaces introducing world documentary heritage of Nguyen Dynasty's royal administrative documents and wood blocks. It also highlights the role of the Nguyen dynasty in compiling the national history documents and promoting the art of making wood blocks, which is considered the pinnacle of sculpture art. The exhibition also gave us space to introduce the historical values of Lâm Dong's capital city of Đà Lạt, with drawing on famous architecture works through periods. Nguyen dynasty administrative documents were made during the state administration of Vietnam's last feudal period between 1802 and 1945, including those issued by kings and state administrative bodies submitted to the kings and a number of diplomatic documents. They were recognized as the documentary heritage of the UNESCO's Memory of the World Committee for Asia and Pacific. Currently, 34,619 wood blocks, which are recognized by the World Documentary Heritage, are being preserved in the National Archives Center in Đà Lạt City. Many of them contain valuable contents affirming Vietnam's sovereignty over Hoàng Sa, known as Paracel, and Trường Sa, Spratly archipelagos. This exhibition will stay open in the long duration for visitors.
A local environmental company in Hanoi is piloting an initiative under which sanitation workers ride bicycles when collecting litter along the streets, drawing significant public attention. Let's join us to see how they do their job.
Curious eyes follow these bicycles with bins hung on both sides as they are ridden around the streets every morning.
It is a convenient way to clean up the city that should be maintained. The status quo of garbage being dropped beside trees when changed because cycling trash workers now collect them. Collectors should have a slogan hung on their bicycles, and when seeing these collectors every day will remind people not to litter into streets.
According to the Hanoi Urban Environment Company, the bicycles which facilitate the workers traveling are part of its policy to mechanize waste collection.
Riding the bicycles is a way for us to promote environmental protection among residents. Cycling helps us to be less tired than walking.
However, some people say that the vehicles could ride in wrong lanes or suddenly stop, causing traffic accidents.
All of our staff have been trained to ensure safe traveling, with only cycling on the right-hand side of the road. For each specific lane, we have different types of vehicles to use.
Not long after the pilot was implemented, positive outcomes have been reported, as the bicycles are suited to riding down small alleys and streets, which make up a large part of the roads in the capital city. More important, it has helped improve the public awareness and promote fine images about a civilized and friendly city.
And that has wrapped up our bulletin. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.